All right, Geoff Schwartz. You are really bothered by a rule change in the world of sports. Now, this is not a new rule. This was around last season in Major League Baseball. But please explain why you were so hot and bothered by this one.
Yeah, so baseball has decided they're going to continue with putting a runner on second base to start extra innings. I don't really understand who it's for. Like, what are you trying to do? And I think I've lost only one bet this year on the under because of it. So it's not because of that. And I think that actually happened after I started complaining about it. So what is the purpose of this? Is it to speed the game up? Well, who's watching in the 10th inning of a game thinking to themselves, like, I need this to be sped up? If you're already in it. If you're a baseball fan, you're watching it. No one is watching who is not a baseball fan, the 10th inning of a regular season Wednesday night game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's like, hey, you gotta wrap this thing up as quick as possible. Is it to get the young fans excited for the game? Again, what young fan is like, I'm going to tune in because this game is in extra innings and I have a runner on second base? Like, who is this for? Why are you doing this? No one seems to like it. Your players don't like it. Your fans don't like it. What's the purpose of this rule change, Jonas? What's the purpose of it?
I think, look, this would be my only estimation as to what the purpose of it would be. That they're like, if we can avoid these, 15, 16, 17 inning, not that there are that many of them, but they do happen from time to time where you've got these long games where teams their bullpens are getting eaten up because these games are going on and on and on and on because they don't have ties in baseball. So I think their thought process is, we don't have to worry about any of that. Let's speed up the process and let's put a guy on second base and try and end these games fast so we don't have to have those long games. That would be my only idea or only guess as to why they think this is a good rule and one they should have kept around from last year.
So the point is that we don't have. So why don't we just end games in a tie if they go to 12 innings?
That's again, like that. That's why. That's where. I'm not a fan of ties, but I'll bet if you were to ask a manager in Major League Baseball, hey, would you rather this game end in a tie, or would you rather eat up your bullpen for another 4 or 5 innings and sabotage what you could potentially do the next game if you're trying to win this series? I'll bet majority of managers would rather play in a tie if we've got that many games. If we've got this many games in a regular season, you see, ties in the NFL I think are a bigger deal because you don't have as many games that you can play. So if you come up, short at making a playoff spot because of a tie, I think it's a bigger deal. In baseball, dude, you got 150 plus games. I mean, like, one tie or 2 ties aren't going to make or break who's going to win the division.
Yeah.
If it comes down to that, then you cross that bridge when you get to it. I'm okay with the tie in baseball. If it means we're not going to eat up bullpens and we don't have to have this dumb rule to where, a guy inherits a runner on second base to start extra innings, then I would be okay with the tie.
Yeah, and think about it. It's just like I think of things from a player perspective. Obviously, like what about the reliever who gets a guy in second base?
Agreed.
And he gets he allows a run that he normally probably would not allow otherwise. And I get their job is to hold runners from scoring. I get that, but typically to start an inning they get no one on base. and there are obviously opportunities that come in during games to hold runners as well. Does that count against their ERA? Does that hurt them in free agency? Does it help? And of course, this is very minuscule, probably offensively to help anyone in the long run. But, if your reliever comes in, 3 times and allows a couple runs every now and then when this happens, it's a problem. So I just don't know. No one was asking for this to be fixed. And the idea that this is going to, draw in fans to a game, if you are drawn to baseball because of the extra inning rules, I don't think you like baseball. Like I'm just thinking about the person who's like, the 23-year-old millennial has an alert on his phone for extra innings baseball. I've been away from home for the last couple of days, and I've watched a lot more baseball than I have in the past. Like I watched the Giants game yesterday. I'm a Giants fan. I'm involved. Baseball has to change the rules to get me to watch. So I'm just curious who are they trying to change the rule for?
Well, you mentioned it, and this I do think is part of the discussion, and it's not the biggest deal, but to players it is. So yeah, you've been through negotiations. If a team can find a reason why they're going to short you on their offer and they can point to something on the field, they're going to do it. They're going to say, well, listen, you aren't as effective here. And so for these relievers who are going to have to deal with the fact that, man, with inherited runners, you give up this amount. And it's like, well, a couple of those were extra inning games. I have a friend of mine who's got a sibling who plays Major League Baseball. And they go through arbitration in baseball, and his wife wanted to go to the arbitration hearing. And my friend said, that's not a good idea, okay, because they're going to tell you everything that he does wrong because they're going to try and get a better deal.
Of course.
So, yeah, I do think there are like think about it this way. You're a reliever. You come into the extra innings of a game right now, and your job is to get 3 outs. First batter comes up, hits a ball to the right side, you get an out, ground ball out. Problem is the runner advanced. Next batter comes up, hits a fly ball, you get an out. Problem is the runner tags. Third guy in the inning, you strike out. You still allowed a run.
Yeah.
You did your job perfectly. Ground ball out, fly ball out, and a strikeout, and you still allowed a run, so that makes you look bad. So that's why I feel bad for relievers in this spot because they're getting the shaft based on the new rule.
Exactly, and teams will use everything they can against you, and that's obviously a very NFL thing to do. But obviously, arbitration in baseball, especially before you get to the contract, that's the way arbitration is, right? They kind of go back and forth. So, I just don't think it makes the game better, like that in the end. And I think that's the goal of every rule is try to make the game better.
Geoff Schwartz, Jonas Knox in for Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Coverage. Back here, more NFL next.